Hello and welcome to our Adaptive Recreation Swim Buddy staff training. My name is Daniel Lassick. I am a certified therapeutic recreational specialist, and I'm also assistant program director for adaptive recreation here at the YMCA of South Florida. I work alongside with Ida Pierda and Jocelyn Lara, and today we're going to go over some techniques uh, that we can use and utilize while working with kids with special needs on a pool deck setting. All right, I hope that you will take away some skills that you can utilize in the next time that you'll be working in the pool on a pool setting with our kids with special needs within the YMCA. Thank you. All right, so we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the process today here at Swim Buddies. The first thing that you're going to have to do is pair. Remember, before the class starts, you have to be on the pool deck within 10 minutes before the class starts, ready, pool ready, ready to enter the water, okay? This is an example of how that's going to look. You're going to have to look for the tents on the pool deck. And you're going to ask Ida or myself or the whiteboard that should be presented outside there with your and look for your name and see who exactly you're going to be working for. So this is the first part, which is pairing. After pairing, we're going to do the introductions. And this is a great an opportunity to say hello to all the participants, and we repeat their names and say hi, so and so, and it's a great way to start our programming. So on some of these slides, I have videos, so I will be playing them. Again, I just want to show you the process of how Swim Buddies looks like today and what you can expect.
Because during summer camp we do have swim lessons and they go to swimming. So these counselors are getting an in-service training because it will look very similar to swim buddies.
As you can see, it's a great opportunity for one of the YMCA staff to be speaking to the parents and also the participants as we're doing the introductions. This is when the class officially starts with the introductions.
Because during summer camp we do.
Right, after we're done with the introductions, you're going to hold your participant's hand with a hand over hand open palm policy, and you're going to walk to the edge of the pool, as you guys can see here. Sometimes a participant may be a little nervous into the water. It's okay. That's why we're here to assist and provide support. And here's a visual example of how that looks like of everybody sitting on the edge of the pool. Some more pictures. So some of our participants would like to get in the water before the swim instructor actually begins the class, and that's all right. And you could begin some of your exercises that you reviewed on the progress note card before class started. You see, there are some participants in the water already, and they got their class going as everybody else is still waiting by sitting on the edge of the pool. Again, if you feel as a participant would like to get in the water as long as they are safe, and one of the YMCA staff gives the okay, by all means, feel free to build rapport, start having fun, and work on some of those exercises that you know that you're going to target today. Again, some pictures here from Swim Buddies classes.
Nice. Good job.
Very cool, very nice.
Eight, nine, 10. Great job,
These
Carlos.
are
I
both
love that. That was amazing.
YMCA staff and volunteers. The swim instructors are wearing the black long rash guards, and everyone else is essentially a volunteer or a part-time YMCA staff member. Here's one of our volunteer leads, and he is using the wristband visual schedule with one of our swimmers to communicate. Very awesome and very helpful technique as well. Hopefully this video can show, but this is a short example of a physical prompt for a participant, or a buddy that needed some help performing kicks. There is a behavior management portion of this training. You may have already gone over it, and if you haven't, then we will review it shortly after this Swim Buddies overview training video. Real quick, sorry for stopping the video, but also pay attention to how the volunteer is counting as he's doing the physical prompt. Super important and very key note. This is an example of how to do it in the water. Right after the class is done, the participants, you hold their hands, you walk over to their parents, they grab the towels, and now it's time for your 15-minute break, but also your progress notes. So these are pictures of how the progress notes process looks like. We obviously have some snacks for the participants and you volunteers as well. And this is just how that looks like. Everybody, you're going to have to write down the progress note cards and the skills that your swimmer worked on. Those are the progress cards. Here's a picture of some volunteers doing the progress cards. Now, after the progress cards, of course, you're ready to take your break, and then before the next class starts, and then you're going to begin with the pairing. Make sure you know who you're working with for the next class, and then get ready for the introductions, and then the whole process starts again. Just to remind you, we have 3 classes, and that's just an overview of one session and how it looks like. All right. Now, let's say that we get rained out one of these days. Could be today. The weather is just not looking too well, and we're just gonna get called out of the pool. Volunteers are still expected to stay the entire time, and so are staff. Um, but what we're gonna do is we go indoors, depending on what building we're in site, and we're gonna have our rainy day schedule. And during our rainy day schedule, we go over some of the swimming techniques, skills, play some games with the buddies, the participants, the lifeguards, and so forth. And it's a really cool opportunity to really get the most out of our swim buddies day, despite the weather being rainy outside. So this is a neat way for us to get creative, participate, have fun, and also, make sure that our families get the most out of swim buddies. We rarely cancel swim buddies unless it's a hazard to be outdoors, but for the most part, we just usually have a rainy day or indoor schedule with everybody. As you can see, that's me going over some of the swim safety skills with the participants, and they are with their parents or with a volunteer. It's very important to always hold your participant's hand on the pool deck at all times. We understand that some participants really enjoy going to the pool or the water, and they may see the water slides or some toys or just the pool itself, and they may run towards that. And either or adversely, we may witness a participant who may really not want to be in the water, and they may try to leave the pool deck or run towards someone or something. In either case, it is super important to always hold your participant's hand while walking on the pool deck. Another thing to keep in mind is how the pool temperature may affect your participant today. As you may know, majority of our participants have some form of special needs, whether it's autism or a sensory processing disorder or related disabilities. The pool temperature can affect their behavior. All right. We understand that when the pool water feels colder than usual, a participant may freeze in place and not want to move. So they may be a great swimmer, but it may appear to you at that moment as if they don't want to swim or don't how to swim because of the pool water being a certain temperature, in this case, cold. So do not limit or assume that a participant is not able to swim or do certain skills if you're noticing that the participant are showing or exhibiting some signs of being cold, as in freezing it, standing in place, not submerging their body, not wanting to get splashed on, or even submerging their head underneath the water. These are certain characteristics that exhibit that the water may be too cold for them. One thing to also keep in mind is the water tolerance for our participants. Some of our participants, they may really enjoy being in the water. However, because of a special need or a specific aversion, sensory wise, they may not enjoy having water splashed on their face. When they put their head back, they may not like water being on their ears, touching the water, or they may not even want to have water over their head, therefore unable to submerge their head easily. Again, this could be potentially a sensory reason, and we do not want to force our participants to simply get over it, so to speak. This is one of the acclimation skills we are targeting, and we want to make sure that our participants feel comfortable while embracing the water acclimation experience. And we are not. These are 2 skills that we're going to try to pinpoint and target. Are the drowning prevention skills and swimming strokes, and also feeling comfortable with the water tolerance level for the participants. Last but not least, I want you to also pay attention to the open mouths while in the pool. Some of our participants, again, may be experiencing a sensory input um, behavior where they may be used to drinking the pool water or licking the pool water because this becomes a natural reflex whenever water touches their lips. Their natural reflex is to swallow it. This is something that some of our participants may be doing unknowingly. When I thought there could be a participant that could be submerging their head underwater. They could be submerging their head underwater, and when they lift their head up above the water, they may be swallowing some of the water that's on their face. So uh, some of the sides, the characteristics we want you to be make a note of is watch their throat. See if they're closing their mouth and swallowing, if you hear any gestation sounds when they're swallowing. Because if this is the indication, if a participant swallows too much pool water, they may feel sick, nauseous, and throw up. So these are things we want you to keep in mind of. If there's a participant that is always having their mouth open during the pool session and you feel like they're drinking a lot of water, then this is a behavior that we should target on first before moving forward with any of the subsequent skills. Again, you should speak to us, me, some of the staff of your observation before we move forward with any of the other more intrusive skills. We have here some examples of how to give instructions. I'm not going to go through all of these for the sake of time, but I do want you to read through them. All right. But as a rule of thumb, when given instructions, it is important to be clear, concise, and use visual language. When you it's very easy to over instruct our participants by repeating ourselves over and over, um, giving an instruction with too many words, by making no eye contact, or being a little ambiguous with our instructions, such as saying, give me more, or let's go. Some of those examples may be not as efficient with some of our lower um, functioning participants because they would require something that's a little bit more concrete and visual. In that case, it's easy. You may experience higher level successes when you use concrete visual instructions such as walk with me, time for kicks, would you like a break? Yes or no questions are very helpful. Present some choices for them to let you know what they want to do. When before you give an instruction and there's something that you want them to accomplish or do, call their name, make sure they're looking at you, and count to three to prompt them. All right. For this slide, we're going to discuss open hand policy. And I want you to watch this video on how I hold Jordan's hand using open hand policy. And I'm going to show you real quick how you can practice that from where you're sitting and watching this video. Hold both of your hands like this. Make sure your fingers are closed like a mitten. And have your dominant hand reach over and grab your other hand, like placing your fingers over the wrist like this and having your thumb in the palm. This is the open hand policy. It doesn't have to be like this exactly, but it could be held like this. You could grab the side of the arm this way. The idea is to not squeeze or clench the skin like that. The reason why is because, when you use your fingers, you may break their skin, leave a red mark, but when you use your open hand to grasp their hands, then you have less likely chances of leaving a mark. Please feel free to read this paragraph and let's watch the video.
We're going to use.
You won't be able to hear what's being said probably. I know it's very low, but I just want you to focus on the movements.
Like that, perfect. So you're going to hold your hand out. I'm going to put my thumb.
That's my hand
Thumb like this. Let's walk a little closer.
over Jordan's hand.
So, okay, relax your hand like that. Perfect. And then you're going to relax your arm. Let's take a step back. Just like that. Okay, relax. So you're going to close your hand a little bit. And we're just going to walk like this.
How it looks like walking side by side with open hand.
There you go. Just like that. Okay, let go. Relax your hand. That's one.
All right, so we're going to continue talking about prompting and on this slide. So I'm going to play both of these videos and I'm going to give some commentary as the video is playing on explaining on what is happening and what level of prompting is occurring at the moment. Remember that the goal for prompting is to help facilitate independence within our participant. We would like for our participant to accomplish the given instruction independently. So we do prompting to help facilitate that independence until they are able to do it on their own. Okay, let's start watching the
We're going to
first video.
demonstrate a verbal
You won't be
prompt
able to listen to everything on the video. I
compared
know that it's
to
very
a
low, but I'm going to be
gestural
providing some
prompt
commentary along the way to
and a
hopefully
physical
explain
prompt.
what's happening.
Okay, here we go. So don't do anything. Jordan, pick up.
So I'm giving Jordan a verbal
So
and
Jordan
gestural
is not
prompt. I'm
picking up. I
asking him
told him
to
something
pick up
verbally, still
the
hasn't done it.
weight.
So now
As
I'm
you
going to
can
point.
see, the
Jordan,
weight, he is
pick
not
up.
picking up the weight. So imagine that you're asking a
Still nothing.
participant to do
This is called
something
a gestural
in the
prompt.
pool
It helps
and they're
indicate
not doing it.
exactly where or what you want the participant to work on or manipulate. But now I'm going to indicate
That's the
exactly
context.
where or what you want the participant to work on or manipulate. But now I'm going to try a physical prompt. You use physical prompts to ensure success.
So the
100% of
question
the time.
is, what do you do now after you have
So I'll
told the
put my hand
participant
behind
to
his
do
back,
something and
so
they're
I have
not doing it?
control in case
Uh,
Jordan decides
so
to
you
get up,
increase the level of
stand,
prompting down
move to a
the
direction. I have
prompting
control
hierarchy. As
over
you
those
can see, I
situations
am
at all
placing my
times.
hand
I'm
behind
gonna pick up
Jordan.
his hand
This
that I
is
want to
a
use, and I'll
partial
say
physical
verbally,
prompt. I am
say Jordan,
physically
pick up.
going to help
I
him
help by having
pick
my
up the
hand
weight.
over his hand. Let's show the video.
So I am
My hand is over
telling
his hand.
Jordan
So
to pick up the weight
indicate
as I'm
exactly where
providing a
and what
physical
compared to the
prompt.
participant to work on gestural prompt. But now I'm gonna try a physical prompt.
As you can tell,
Use
I am
physical
not
prompts
picking up the
to
weight
ensure
for him. I am
success
doing it
100% of
with
the time.
him.
Jordan, okay? Pick up. So I'll put my hand behind his back. No, so I have control. Jordan decides up. I told him something verbally. Stand, move to a direction. So
I have
now
told him to pick it up. I am picking it up with him as a physical prompt. And this is a great way to ensure that your participant is able to accomplish the skill or task. For visual schedules and timers, we're going to go through this briefly. A visual schedule is something that would be definitely an effective tool while using with participants with autism and related disabilities. The only the view I want you to view visuals as in a way as a prompt, as a visual prompt in communicating the instruction. Some of our participants respond better when you don't just say a verbal instruction, but when you use a visual prompt with your verbal instruction. All right. For example, I'm going to play this short clip here. If I ask a participant to let's sit on edge, that's the verbal instruction, while pointing to a visual prompt, this will help ensure that the participant understands and completes that instruction. Okay, another way that we can use timers, we're not going to go so much into depth of how to use timers in the pool, but one strategy that I definitely implement and encourage you to implement is to count how many repetitions you want your participant to do a specific task. For example, if you want your participant to float on their back, like we see right here, number 7, then give them the prompt of counting to 10 seconds. So I will say, for example, Danny, float on back, provide the physical prompt. I gave the verbal instruction, I'm providing the physical prompt, and I'll count. Float on back, 10 seconds. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 10. Or sometimes the kids prefer it if I do it backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you use these counting prompts, physical prompts, and also letting the participants know before you actually do the actual task, what is expected, you have a higher chance, you will increase the chances of success. All right, so now we're going to discuss our PREMAC principle. It's also known as the principle of reinforcement and first and then. You're going to hear me say this a lot during our Swim Buddies time together. I'm going to play the short clip and I'm going to provide some commentary along the way. So this is Grandma. So she wants to build motivation with her grandson. All right. So she tells her grandson first he will need to clean the room, then he could play with the skateboard. So now there is increased motivation for him to clean his room. That is the desired instruction, to clean his room. And she's using the motivation of using the skateboard to clean the room. And after he finishes cleaning the room, he is able to have the skateboard. So this is a PREMAC principle. It's really a simple way to reward people to get to build motivation while working with our participants. If you notice that your participant may be seeking to want a break, or they want to go see their mom, or they just want to play with their toys, or just want to have their free time, you can motivate them by saying, first, let's do 10 kicks, then break. Or for those who are more independently functioning, you could say, first, let's get through the pool lesson, which is more general, and then you can go home or go use your iPad or eat snacks afterwards. That's the motivation. So again, saying something along the lines, first, let's do 10 kicks and then break. These are a little bit shorter durations. You may use these for younger participants or those who have a shorter threshold of waiting. But those who are able to wait a little longer, you could probably use more of a general concept, such as first, let's get through the pool time and then you can go. We like to use when working with our kids in the pool deck, on the pool deck and in the water, is called body blocking, right? Where you use your body to block your participant to help navigate and control where they can go. All right. We do not like to pull on participants' arms. We don't like to run towards them if they run past you. But these are preventative measures you can implement to make sure that they stay within the designated area and not elope or run away. Examples of
I
that.
did a hand signal. So
No, almost done, baby.
So what I'm doing is I'm gonna use my thumb, open hand policy, right here. Let's turn around.
So another thing that's very important to really to recognize, if a participant ever lays a hand on you, you can help maneuver it out of the way safely for both you and the participant. While you're standing to the side corner of the participant, in that position here, you are able to block any aggressive physical movement towards you, whether he's trying to slap, pinch, or scratch you. I have one arm behind him so he doesn't run away, and with my left hand I'm able to block any movement towards my face or body. And he's also not able to bite or headbutt me. So this preventative measure is a way to keep safe for you and the participant until help gets closer to or arrives. Notice that if a participant ever gets aggressive, I do not leave them alone or take a step back. Why? Because if I took a step back, the participant is at risk of eloping, running away, going in the deep side of the pool and possibly harming themselves, or picking something up and throwing it at me. So the closer proximity I am to my participant, the more control I have. Let's watch the second video.
All right. So we're gonna practice redirect. If they try to come at me.
I'm just showing how some of the preventative techniques I'm using.
Good. And try to redirect.
Notice how I'm having my open hand policy during the whole time.
If I'm in the
And
back,
once I'm
I'm
behind
the
him, I
safest.
have maximum
So try to
control.
headbutt me. There. You might get a headbutt me. Try to hit me with your arm.
He's not able to hit me. He's not able to headbutt me. I can control
Now try
using
to
my
turn around and face me.
forearms, my wrist, and
See,
moving his
I got
shoulders
control.
around.
If I'm in your back, I got complete control. Now what happens if I got my back turned? Now try to hit me.
We do not ever want to turn our
Now I
backs
become
towards
a
a
target because
participant
if I'm not
in
facing
those
you,
situations because,
then I
God
become
forbid, that he
open
may hurt you
target to
or
you.
someone else or themselves.
I'm talking to you like I'm training you, bro.
All right, so now we're going to discuss praise and reward. This is something that after the instruction is completed, the participant has done a great job. They're having a great session, and you want to give them a praise and reward. We briefly discussed that. We saw a little bit of it in the YouTube video with the pre-med principal when the mom gave the little boy a high five and said, "Good job." This is a form of praise. But I'm going to read some of this, and we're just going to give a few examples to ensure that this why do we do it and why it's important. Okay. It is important to understand the function behind giving a reward. Okay? Rewards are meant to be given at the end of a desired action to increase likelihood of happening again. So again, you see how one of the main principles that we're trying to use here is motivation. We want to make sure that this behavior that just happened, that we are rewarding and very happy about, happens again. Okay, so just like with prompting, we want to ensure the independence of the participant accomplishing this task. So we also want to ensure that this behavior happens again in the future. Okay, rewards should be given to distinguish a good job done immediately after the task is done. All right, these are some types of effective rewards that we could use during our programming. High fives, verbal praises such as good job, break time. Some of our participants just want to work for a break. Preferred item, preferred activity or item. Maybe there's a game they want to play or just play with a specific toy or item. And or just maybe a completion of the activity. Their break could be simply just being done with everything that's on the list. Let's say, going back to the example I mentioned in the previous slide of the visual schedule, let's say Johnny just wants to be done with everything on their schedule. Maybe little Johnny is an overachiever and just wants to finish everything as quickly as possible. And as soon as they're finished, it brings a release of dopamine in their brain. They feel relaxed and accomplished, like they've done something amazing, which is great.